I made like 100 today, but was hungry and looking real bummy today. You was bony and looking too funny today. I don't care, niggas still make Cheeze. Let's go. That's all I fucking hear, cause I got.
What's going on, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the Chatting with Cheeze podcast. And I'm your host, Fat Cheeze. And before we get started, y'all already know the motto: do not forget to like and share the content. Also, do not forget to subscribe to the YouTube channel. We almost at 100 subscribers, so come on, y'all, keep coming in. Let's get this thing growing. And do not forget to follow me on all socials. They're gonna be in the video. They should show before the video, but they'll also be connected to the video. And before we get started, getting into our topics for the day, I want to just go ahead and bring some stuff to the light. First and foremost, I want to wish all my dads out there a happy belated Father's Day. Special day. I hope y'all enjoyed y'all day. Hopefully all the dads out there who are active in their kids' lives, they got what they deserve. Y'all had a good Father's Day, so I wanted to give y'all a quick shout out. And another thing I want to say to all my fellas out there, the month of June is Men's Mental Health Awareness Month. So to all my fellas out there, man, this was something important to me that I wanted to bring to my platform. Just man, take your mental serious. If you need to talk to somebody, man, see if you could maybe go out there and find somebody to talk to, man. Let your feelings be known, or you know what I'm saying. If you overworking yourself, you know what I'm saying, just take a mental break. This month is for the fellas and our mental health. We live in a society nowadays where, they try to act like a man showing his emotions, or you know what I'm saying, letting people know they need somebody to talk to. That's a sign of weakness. I'm here to tell you, it's not a sign of weakness. It is okay. This is the month right here to get your mental right, so we can make the rest of this year a fantastic year. So I just wanted to shout out those two things. Happy belated Father's Day to all my active dads out there, and also shout out to all my fellas out there that's taking their mental health serious. June is Men's Mental Health Awareness Month. So I just wanted to bring those two things to the light before we got started. Now let's get into it. First topic of the day. For all my basketball fans, we've been talking basketball on this page for a little minute now. I want to give a shout out to the Boston Celtics. They are your NBA Finals champs. They are your NBA champs. They've been the best team all year. They finished it off yesterday by beating the Mavericks 106 to 88. They finished it off in style. It was kind of a blowout win. I took the Celtics. If you go back to, and I'm mad. We gonna get into that, but I'm kind of mad at Luka and Kyrie for making me look like a fool. A little bit of people been getting at me for my best scoring duo in history comment on my last video, but we gonna get into all that. But back to the Celtics, they handled business. Shout out to them. They did what they were supposed to do. I picked Celtics in 6. They ended up ending it in 5. And this series was kind of lopsided to me. I feel like Boston dominated in every aspect, every game. I feel like the only game where you can kind of say Dallas really dominated, the script was flipped, was game 4. But then me personally, I honestly felt like that Dallas, that Boston let Dallas win that game. I think if Boston truly wanted to sweep them, I think they knew that they could sweep them. I think they wanted to end it in Boston, and they did just that. So I'm going to go ahead and just give a little rundown of the stats, and then we're going to go from there. So yesterday on Boston side, Jayson Tatum gave you 31 points, 8 rebounds, 11 assists. He went 11 of 24 from the field, 1 of 7 from 3, 8 of 8 from the line with a plus 18. All of Boston starters was in the plus yesterday. They had a hell of a game. I'm talking about they was getting everything they wanted. Drew Holiday kicked it off by getting a couple of easy looks at the rim. He was playing that dunker spot very well. Jaylen Brown gave you 21 points, 8 rebounds, 6 assists, 7 of 23 from the field, 2 of 9 from 3, 5 of 6 from the line. He was a plus 20. Drew Holiday, I just mentioned him. He gave you 15 points, 11 rebounds, 4 assists, 7 of 14 from the field, 1 of 3 from 3, but he was a plus 21. Drew Holiday was so much of a huge addition to this team, man. Coming in earlier, this was like around like my first couple of videos back. I said I felt like the Drew, and I'll say it again just for if you didn't hear it. The Drew Holiday pickup to me was more important than Dame going to Milwaukee, just because everything Drew Holiday brings to the table as far as defensively and what he can give you offensively. I think some people seem to forget how truly good Drew Holiday is as a two-way player. Drew Holiday was an all-star back in his early days in Philly. You know, I love players like Drew Holiday. I'm happy for him. He got his second ring, first one with Milwaukee. Now he turned around and get one with Boston. So I'm happy for Drew Holiday. Derek White gave you 14 points, 8 rebounds. He went 4 of 10 from the field, 4 of 8 from 3, and he got a chipped tooth all while giving you all that. Shout out to Derek White, Uncle Al Horford got his first championship yesterday. I think it was 186 games played in the playoffs without a finals. He finally cracked the code. He got himself a championship. I think he's the first player from Dominican Republic to win a championship. So shout out to Al Horford, 9 points, 9 rebounds, 2 assists, 3 of 6 from the field, 2 or 3 from 3. He was a plus 20. And then Sam Hauser came off the bench and hit some timely shots in that first half. He gave you 8 points, 4 rebounds, 3 of 7 from the field, 2 of 6 from 3. But you kind of could tell where the game was headed. I mean, it was kind of like Boston just came out so aggressive. Jayson Tatum came out looking to attack. He was facilitating. He had, I think, about going into like maybe like it was either the second or the third quarter. I think he had like 6 or 7 assists. By that point in time, they just came out ultra aggressive on the defensive end, getting steals, dive. Like I said, Derek White ended up with a chipped tooth, diving on the floor. You could tell they wanted it yesterday. They wanted it to end in Boston. They didn't want to have to go back to Dallas. I felt like it wasn't going back to Dallas regardless, but they came out ultra aggressive. I kind of knew the game, the fate of the game, when Peyton Pritchard came in and hit his second in the series half court buzzer beater to go into the half. I knew what the game was going to be. I think right there was just a breaking point for Dallas. I felt like Dallas knew what it was after that point, man. So shout out to Boston. Shout out to that whole staff. I just read today that they coached the whole thing with, I think, a torn meniscus. So man, shout out to Boston. They've been the best team all year. People been making excuses saying, "Oh well, you know they had the easiest way to the finals." How? I don't understand that. Yeah, injuries are a part of the game, but if you look at it and from totality, they've been the best team all year. So all those teams that y'all saying that they wasn't gonna be. They beat them in the regular season. They've been the number one team literally all year. I felt like if Boston couldn't win this year with the collective group that they had, I felt like if they couldn't win a championship this year, it was no way they were going to win. They've been knocking on the door these past couple of years. They always came up short. They lost to Steph and company about a year or 2 years ago. And then you remember early on, I think that was Jayson Tatum, them rookie, they took LeBron and them to Game 7. So they've been close. And it was about time for them to finally kick the door down and win their first championship. I mean, well, Jaylen Brown and Jayson Tatum, their first championships. They're gonna hang up. Now I think they have the most championships in the NBA. I think this will be banner number 18 that they'll be hanging. So they'll be going into some good company, man. You know, you got Larry Bird and them up there. So they'll be joining them, hanging the banner and the Raptors. Shout out to Boston. They got 16 total bench points. They just did what they were supposed to do. Like I said, I felt like in no time in this series that I feel like Dallas had control or was going to be. I felt like from game one, it just felt like Boston said, we coming to dominate this series. We gonna make it look easy. They made it look easy besides game 4. But like I said, I felt like they gave Dallas that game. Besides game 4, they made this thing look easy. And shout out to them, man. Shout out to Mazzulla, the head coach. Hopefully I'm pronouncing your name right. Ever since he took over as the head coach, The ship has just continued to, stay afloat ever since he's taken over as head coach, and he got a championship out of it. So shout out to Boston. They did their thing. Now we gonna move on to the Dallas side of thing, and I'm gonna be honest. This is just me personally. I felt like Dallas quit yesterday. I think Dallas just knew it was overmatched. The way that I broke it down in my last video, I just felt like everybody was going off of. I got me a little bit of money too off a bet, but everybody just felt like what they seen Dallas do against Minnesota, that would translate against Boston. And I didn't think that, because I understand when you watching the NBA, and if you are a true basketball fan, you understand the game is made up of matchups. And I just felt like that Boston could match up better with Dallas than Minnesota could. Does Minnesota have a good team? Absolutely. But I felt like that Boston could just match up with them more as far as with switching defensively. I felt like they could make Lively and Gafford liabilities out there, which I believe that they did. And I just felt like they could put so much pressure on Luka and force Luka to, kind of have to trust his other teammates. I felt like that it wouldn't work, because, and this is no diss to guys like PJ Washington or Derrick Jones, but I just felt like the type of series that they gave you with Minnesota, I felt like they couldn't do that consistently for a whole nother series with a team as good as Boston. I'd rather put my faith in guys like Drew Holiday, Al Horford, Derek White, before I put my trust in, PJ Washington, Derrick Jones, Lively, who's a rookie. Not saying that they're bad players, but I just understand it's about a game of matchups, and they've been here. These guys have been on big stages before, whereas though on the Dallas side they haven't. But we gonna look at their stats from yesterday. Luka gave you 28 points, 12 rebounds, 5 assists. He went 12 of 25 from the field, 2 of 9 from 3, 2 of 5 from the line. He was horrible from the line yesterday. I seen him miss a bunch of free throws yesterday. There wasn't a bunch. But he missed 3 of them. But he was missing free throws. Luka just looked terrible. I'm gonna be honest. In the first half, he ended with 28, but that's like fool's gold. I mean, he had like 9 points in the first half. He looked awful. He just looked out of it. Like I said, I kind of felt like he kind of quit on them yesterday, and I'm gonna get back to Luka, but yesterday I just felt the vibe just watching him. I felt like he kind of, maybe just, I think the writing was on the wall for him. Like, he probably knew that it was no way they were gonna be able to wait. Boston came out and was aggressive and just attacking, hitting their threes. I just thought Luka just may have said, you know what, they the better team. They gonna go ahead and get this one, because he was terrible yesterday. Like I said, he ended with 28. But if you a stats guy, you'll look at that and say, oh well, that's what he ended with. But if you really watch the game, you'll see Luka wasn't good at all yesterday. Kyrie ended with 15 points. 3 rebounds, 9 assists. He was 5 of 16 from the field, 3 of 9 from 3. All the Dallas starters was in the negative yesterday, whereas though if you flip it, all Boston starters was in the plus. So that just goes to show you what kind of game it was. Kyrie was terrible this whole series though, and that's what I wanted to speak on. I see a lot of people, they were talking about Luka, and there is things that Luka need to work on, but I'm gonna be honest, Kyrie sold them so bad this series. He just, at first I kind of thought maybe that it was kind of like over exaggerated with the Boston and how bad he is against Boston, but after this series I seen it. Kyrie was really awful. Besides game 3, Kyrie was terrible like in this series, and I see a lot of people like getting on Luka, and kind of like letting Kyrie flow under the radar, but Kyrie was awful. I feel like if Kyrie had a better series, then Dallas would have had a better shot to at winning or at least extending the series. But he was awful, and for him to be your second best player, you can't have that type of production out of your second best player and expect to do anything, especially not with a team like Boston, where you got the guy who's supposed to be their best player. We're gonna get into that. He wasn't even, to me, their best player in this series. You got Porzingis coming out game 1, giving you a dub plus. Then with Jaylen Brown giving you 21. Then the second game, you got Drew Holiday giving you 26. Mind you, these are the guys that are the third and fourth options on Boston. But then when you flip the script on the Dallas, the second best option, he ain't giving you nothing. You know what I'm saying? So it's like Kyrie was horrible. And this is a stat. Kyrie is 1-13 versus Boston. I don't know if y'all remember, ever since he stepped on the logo when he played for Brooklyn in the Garden, he stepped on the logo. He's 1-13 versus Boston since that. So I don't know. It's something about Boston. Kyrie looked terrible. PJ Washington, he gave you 4 points, 6 rebounds, 3 assists. He was 2 of 7. He was 2 of 7 from the field, 0 of 5 and 3. He had a minus 26. He had the worst plus minus out of everybody. And I said it going into the series, and I just discussed this. I'm PJ Washington reverted back to Charlotte. PJ Washington, and that's what I try to tell people when I'm talking about sports and when I'm talking about specifically basketball. I did not trust that PJ Washington could go into this series and give you the same production. He gave you great production in the Minnesota series. I'm not taking that away from him, but it's them lights shine a little bit brighter when you go into the finals. You know what I'm saying? He was not the same player in this finals that he was in the Western Conference Finals. And that's just facts. And I felt like that played a part. That's why I kind of gave Luka a little bit of slack, because I mean, it's basically was like Luka was out there doing everything, by himself. It's only so much he can do. And you got to think, not giving him an excuse, but he's already playing injured. And then on top of that, you're not getting no production from your other guys. So it's like, what do you want me to do? I mean, I can only do but so much. He's horrible. I'm gonna come back to that. Let me finish running down these stats. Derrick Jones gave you 10 points, 4 of 8 from the field, 1 of 4 from 3. He was a -8. Like I said, though, the role guys who showed up for you in Minnesota, they didn't show up for you this series, and that's unfortunate for Dallas. Gafford gave you 6 points, 3 rebounds. He was a -7. Lively gave you 2 points. Lively, I felt like, became a liability in this series because he can't do anything outside of the paint. And like I said, once again, it's about every team is not the same. It was easy for Lively and Gafford to, look a type of way against Minnesota because you're dealing with Rudy Gobert, who can't really give you nothing outside of the paint anyway. But when you playing a team like Boston, who they have Porzingis, who can stretch the floor. They have Uncle Al Horford, who can stretch the floor, who can shoot the 3. Lively becomes, if he just got to be in the paint the whole time, he becomes obsolete. So Lively didn't give you anything, but he's a rookie. He got time to grow. So, it was his first finals. He had a great rookie season, especially a great playoff run. So I'll give him a little grace. But like I said, he was a liability for you this series. And it seemed like Josh Green came off the bench and gave you 14 points, 5 of 8 from the field, 4 of 6 from 3. He hit a couple of big threes, but it wasn't enough. From the tip off, just from the beginning of the game, especially at the end of that second quarter, you just knew how the game was going to go. Dallas, it just felt like Dallas would come down and hit a 3, and Boston would come right back and answer everything. They would answer. They hit a 3, Boston come back down and hit a 3. They get something in the lane. All they doing is attacking. Jayson Tatum attacking, kicking it out. They was just doing it. They had no answer. And honestly, I felt like it should have been a sweep. But once again, I had a feeling that Boston would maybe let them get one. And once they got game 3, they didn't care too much about game 4, and they wanted to end it in Boston, which they did. But let me get back to this Luka thing. I see a lot of people giving Luka grief. Now, I'm gonna talk about this. I felt like Luka was exposed on the defensive end, because anytime that they can come up with a collage of all the times you getting blew by in a series, that just goes to show you are terrible defensively. And that's something that, and it's going to be hard, because Luka's been basically a pro since he was like 19 years old. He's been playing with grown men. He came into the draft, so it's going to be hard to get him to change up his game. But if they don't do something with his conditioning And with him on the defensive end, I don't see a way in the future where Dallas can win a championship unless you put all defenders around him and let Luka just, do his thing offensively. Because now that teams are going to go look at the tape and they're going to see that we're gonna put Luka in the switches. We're gonna switch him to death and put him on our best scores. And they already know Luka not trying to play no defense. In game 3, they was up. They had a chance. He fouled out because he got 6. I don't even know how he don't play no defense. So I don't even understand how he fouled out. He tried to take a late charge, end up getting fouled out. Luke, you got to do something about it. That's my only concern with Luka. He's 25 years old, but he got to do something with his conditioning because he's finding these little knick-knack injuries. He's getting hurt. And as far as offensively, I feel like you can't blame Luka for them losing this series. He did everything he was supposed to do. But like I said, going back to Kyrie, when you have your second scorer, the guy who's supposed to be, your second scorer, when you have him, when you got him giving you not very much production off of, he's supposed to be the guy to come in. Kyrie has been to the finals before. He's been in the big stage, and when he's giving you numbers, I'm just gonna give you a rundown of Kyrie numbers. In this finals. Your game 1, 12 points, terrible. Game 2, 16 points, terrible. His best game was game 3, he had 35. Game 4 was the blowout win. He gave you 21. And then on the closeout game, and you can't give me 15 points. You can't give me 15 points. So like I said, if I had to pick, I'm gonna put the blame on Kyrie. I can't blame Luka. I feel like Luka did what he was supposed to do. Game 1, he gave you 30 and 10. Game 2, he gave you 32, 11 and 11. Game 3, he gave you 27, 6 and 6, even though he fouled out game 3. Game 4, he gave you 29, 5 and 5 in the blowout win. And even though this is fool's gold because he was terrible in the first half, he ended up giving you 28, 12 and 5. I mean, I don't feel like there's any more you could ask from your superstar. I feel like Kyrie and the role players, they failed him. Like I said, but Dallas got to go back to the drawing board. Maybe if they could try, I don't know how they contract situations is going to shake out. Maybe they can go in and they need to get somebody else in there, maybe off the bench or something that can come in and create their own offense. And not just stand around while Luka and Kyrie dribble the air out the ball and then decide to kick. They need somebody who can give them consistent offense because when you get into these playoff games and try to make those deep playoff runs and get into these final situations, if you don't have guys that can score or can help your star players out, I mean, it's going to be a problem. Look at last year with Denver winning a championship. You had guys like KCP stepping up. You had guys like who else? Bruce Brown stepping up, Jeff Green stepping up. You had guys like Michael Porter, them guys. Those are the type of guys you need to help you get over that hump. The year but when Steph and them won, you had Wiggins, you had Kuminga, you know what I'm saying, etc. You need guys like that those role players become so important in those deep stretches. And I felt like they failed Dallas in this series, and that's why I went ahead and picked Boston. Shout out to Boston, man. Y'all had a hell of a year. They did their thing all year. They've been the best team. I don't want to hear none of the excuses about they play injured teams and this and that. I don't want to hear that because they had the best record all year. And apparently they had to beat some pretty damn good teams to be the best team in the NBA all year. And it ended up with them getting the championship. So they'll be hanging up that 18th banner. Shout out to Boston. We moving on to our next topic. So this is a topic that I've been looking at all day, and I've been thinking about it all day before I got on and wanted to come on here and talk. And the topic is, did they get Finals MVP correct? It's a lot of little controversy. I really don't like it because I don't want people to be trying to divide Jaylen Brown and Jayson Tatum. But I'm gonna say this, and I'm gonna say this with confidence. If you, sir, it's no way in the world that anybody could have watched this finals and felt like Jayson Tatum should have won finals MVP. Like, let's be real. Let's be real. Jaylen Brown was better than Jayson Tatum. And you guys that's gonna go, well, he led in every category. Assists, points, rebounds. If you actually watch this final series, there's no way in the world you think that Jaylen Brown shouldn't have won finals MVP. He absolutely should have won. Not only was he giving you production offensively, but then he had to turn around. And guard the best player in this entire series, which is Luka Doncic. And he made it tough on Luka. Luka had 7 turnovers yesterday. Most of them turnovers contributed to Jaylen Brown hounding him. I'm talking about game 1, he guarded Luka 90 feet. On top of that, having to turn around and give you offensive production as well. And let's just be real. Jayson Tatum was terrible the first 2 games. Jayson Tatum really didn't get going until game 3, and he had 31. But guess what? Jaylen Brown had 30. Jayson Tatum's best game of this total series was game 5, which was yesterday. So I don't understand how people could honestly say, and you got a lot of guys out here that want Tatum, that love Tatum. I like Tatum too. But we got to give Jaylen Brown his props. Jaylen Brown had a hell of a series from game 1. And same thing with the series before in the Eastern Conference Finals against Indiana. Jaylen Brown had a hell of a series. I ain't gonna lie. Jayson Tatum might be getting he been getting carried. I ain't gonna lie. I like Jayson Tatum. He's a good player, but we gotta call a spade a spade. Jayson Tatum kind of been getting carried, and a lot of people. I think Jayson Tatum, he ain't gonna come out and say it publicly, but I feel like Jayson Tatum went as hard as he did yesterday because he felt like he knew that Jaylen Brown was gonna get that Finals MVP. I knew it. I said it. I said if they would have swept him, regardless of when the series ended, if Jaylen Brown didn't win Finals MVP, you knew it was an agenda. It was a simple agenda because Jaylen Brown was phenomenal in this series. Once again, we're going to get, since you got the numbers, guys, these are Jayson Tatum's numbers throughout the series. Game 1, 16 points, 11 rebounds, 5 assists. Game 2, 18 points, 9 rebounds, 12 assists. Game 3, which is when I felt like he started to get it going a little bit. He had 31, 6 and 5. Okay. Game 4, which was a blowout on Dallas end, he had 15, 5 and 3, and then yesterday he had 31, 8 and 11. Phenomenal game 5. But those first 2 games, he was terrible. He got carried. You got to remember, in that first game, it was Jaylen Brown and Porzingis coming in, going bonkers, that won them game 1. Game 2, it was Drew Holiday giving you 26, and they end up taking game 2. Game 3, he gave you 31, but Jaylen Brown gave you 30. Game 4, it was a blowout, so I really don't count that. And game 5, he had a better game than Jaylen Brown yesterday, but throughout the totality of the series, he was not better than Jaylen Brown. They absolutely got it correct. Jaylen Brown should have been Finals MVP, and I don't want to go too deep into it because I see people trying to draw a wedge in between. I don't condone in that. They both are great players. Jaylen Brown got his max extension. Jayson Tatum is in line for one. He's about to get a max extension. So they gonna be together for quite a while. They might play a majority of their whole careers together. I love them as a duo. But I don't like the fact how people are trying to say, oh, well, based on Tatum leading in all stat categories, he should have won Finals MVP. Absolutely not. We're not going to disregard Jaylen Brown's finals performance like that. He had a great finals performance. He deserved to win it over Jayson Tatum, and that's just what it is. I ran down Jayson. Now, let me give you Jaylen Brown's number. 22, 6 and 2, game 1. 21, 4 and 7, game 2. 38 and 8, game 3, 10, 1 and 2, game 4, which was the blowout, and he went for 21 and 8, in game 5. And I mean, it's crazy because the MVP of the finals only averaged 20 points, but I mean, everybody's not going to give you 30 points, 35. All right. Hey, it is what it is. But like I said, I'm going to keep it short and sweet. Jaylen Brown deserved to win Finals MVP, in my opinion. All you Tatum fan guys, I know y'all love him. I like him too. I don't. But it is what it is. He deserved to win. Jaylen Brown deserved to win Finals MVP. Congratulations to you, brother. They just gave you that max deal. You showed them that they made the right decision. So shout out to you. Moving on to the next topic, and we kind of gonna piggyback. But my next topic that I put down was, can Boston run it back? And me personally, I believe they can. I believe we'll see Boston next year in the finals again. Like I said, they just gave Jaylen Brown his extension before the season, a max extension. I believe Jayson Tatum will get his done this summer. They paid Drew Holiday recently. I believe Kristaps Porzingis is under contract. Derek White. So I seen earlier where they said Al Horford will be coming back next year. So if they can bring this core group back and have them hopefully have a healthy season next year, I believe we'll see them in the finals next year. I don't see no team in the East beating them. The only teams that I see that could possibly make it interesting is you have Milwaukee. How will Giannis look coming off of his injury from this past season? How would Dame look? We seen Doc Rivers come out and say Dame said that he wasn't in shape this season. So let's see if Dame can get in shape. They can get some things together, come back. They maybe can give Boston a run for their money. I think Philly, depending on what Philly decide to do in free agency, do they go out and try to get Paul George? Do they try to add somebody with Tyrese Maxey and Joel Embiid? If they can make some shake in free agency, I think Philly will be in the conversation. And then the New York Knicks, depending on what they do in free agency, can they bring somebody along with Jalen Brunson? Do they lose pieces? So this free agency offseason is going to be important just to see how things go as far as how it shakes out in the East. But right now, if I had to predict, I think Boston will be back next year. I just think, like I said, man, they just so good as far as if you watch them all year, the things that they're able to do. Joe Mazzulla got them rolling. Like I said, Jayson Tatum and Jaylen Brown will only get better. If Porzingis can stay healthy, you see what he's capable of when he's out there on the floor. Can stretch the floor, hit the three. He does so many different things. Al Horford, a threat to hit the three. He also can ground and pound down low. And he's coming off the bench now to run with that second unit. I would like to see Boston kind of try to upgrade that second unit a little bit. But Sam Hauser came off the bench yesterday and looked good. So if they can just keep this core intact, I think we'll see Boston back next year. I'm not going to jump the gun and say dynasty and all that, but I do feel like they maybe could have a shot to run it back and possibly go back-to-back, win back-to-back championships. And if they do that, man, that'll be outstanding. That'll be great. So we just got to wait and see. Only time will tell. But if I had to give my prediction, I would say we are going to see Boston back in the finals next year representing the Eastern Conference. That's just my prediction. But I want y'all to leave y'all votes down low or in the comment section and let me know, do y'all think Boston could run it back? Do y'all think this year was a fluke due to all the other teams being injured? Leave y'all comments down below. Let me know what y'all think. That's what this show for, back and forth. So that's what I want. So y'all let me know. Moving on. So earlier today, what I did was I said I wanted to try something on my Instagram. If you follow me on the Instagram, you seen it. If you don't follow me on the Instagram, make sure you follow me on the Instagram. But I put a poll up, and the question that I asked on the poll was, is Jayson Tatum a superstar? And these are the results of the poll that I got. So I got 62% says yes, he's a superstar. 38% says no, he's a superstar. So you got a lot of people that think Jayson Tatum is a superstar. My opinion, and like I said, I like Jayson Tatum. I think he's a good player. He's accomplished so much in this league. He's only 26 years old. He has a lot of time left. If I had to say right now, currently today where I'm sitting, I don't think Jayson Tatum is a superstar. And the reason why I'll say that I don't think he's a superstar is just because he's a champion. I'm not taking that away from him. He's a champion. Congratulations. But the reason why I would say I don't believe he's a superstar is due to the fact it's just too many inconsistencies that I see. And superstars make their presence felt in moments like the NBA Finals. People can look and say whatever they want. Oh, the finals, it don't mean anything. But when it's time for crunch time, the best player on the team make their presence felt. When LeBron was in all them finals, he let it be known, I'm the best player on the floor. When Shaq was in the finals in his prime, I'm the best player on the floor. Kobe, I'm the best player on the floor. Who else can you when Kawhi won his champion in Toronto? Well, I'm gonna scratch that because they only won because Golden State was injured. But even when KD went to Golden State for those years, you could say whatever you want about you don't like the move he made or blase. We not here to discuss that right now. KD let it be known, I'm the best player on the floor. I just feel like if you watch this series right here with them, there's no, like, I'm sorry, Jayson Tatum was not the best. He's not better. I'm not putting him over Luka, and he wasn't even, to me, he wasn't the best player on his team in this finals. I'm not saying he's not better than Jaylen Brown. I believe he's better than Jaylen Brown. I'm not even gonna get into all that. You got people who say, well, I don't think Jaylen Brown is better than him, but the way that he performs, people can literally make that an argument due to the fact that he is too many inconsistencies. I don't like the fact that the step back jumpers. I feel like yesterday's game, that game 5 game, is I feel like what we need to see from Jayson Tatum all the time for him to be labeled as a superstar in this league. That aggressiveness, getting to the rim, getting fouled, going to the line, knocking down your free throws, mid-range, back to the basket, just dominating the game. Yesterday, you couldn't tell me yesterday that Jayson Tatum wasn't the best player on the floor. And that's how he should look all the time. That's why, to me, I wouldn't put him in that tier 1 of players. I would maybe put him like the top of tier 2. I would more so put Jayson Tatum like in that realm of with guys like Donovan Mitchell. I would put him in that realm of like guys like that. Was he better than SGA this year? You have an argument for that. Me personally, I would say no. I just feel like Jayson Tatum, he's an all-star. He's a good player. But I just feel like that Jayson Tatum, I can't give him the superstar. Not yet. It's certain guys that you know that have it, and then there's some guys it's like it take him a minute. I'm not saying that that he won't, that maybe next year he'll establish himself as a superstar. But I'm just saying that in these moments, superstars let their presence be felt. I feel like he didn't do anything special in this series to make me say, oh man, Jayson Tatum, he stood out in this series. He was the common denominator in this series. I don't feel that way. I think it was a team thing. Like I said, Boston has been the best team all year. Jayson Tatum played a role in that. But I just feel like I said, game 1, it wasn't because of Jayson Tatum they won. Game 2, it wasn't because of Jayson Tatum. Game 3, he had a big game. He had a good game. But Jaylen Brown also gave you 30. And then I just feel like he didn't make his presence dominant in this series. So I can't give him the superstar role. But like I said, I want y'all in the comment section or wherever y'all see this video at, let me know what y'all think. Because apparently, in a lot of people's eyes, they think he a superstar. And I'm fine with that. Me personally, Cheeze, I can't give him the superstar role. Not yet. All-star, great player, hell of a player, absolutely. But superstar to me is different. Like superstar, when I think of superstar, I'm thinking, of course, LeBron. I'm thinking Kevin Durant. I'm thinking Nikola Jokic. I'm thinking Joel Embiid. I'm thinking Luka. Those are the guys I'm thinking about when I think of superstar. I can't put Jaylen Brown there. I can't put Jayson Tatum there. Not right now. Not right now. So, like I said, leave in the comment sections what y'all think. Like I said, maybe a couple of y'all think he's a super. Apparently, y'all do, because in the poll, y'all won a poll. Y'all said he's a superstar. So, leave in the comment section what y'all think. I just wanted to, I threw it out there on Instagram earlier just to see the feedback I get. I got some pretty good feedback, and like I said, those are the results. I just wanted to give my opinion on it. So, moving on to my last final topic. And I didn't get a chance to talk about this, so now I'm doing it. Saturday, June 15th, Gervonta Tank Davis versus Frank Martin. Everybody, I'm pretty sure a lot of y'all seen the fight. Tank got him out of there in round 8. Knockout. My reaction to the fight, I'm gonna be honest with you, and this is me being honest. Let me get my water real quick. This is me being honest with you. I like the way Frank came out. I think Frank came out early. He tried to establish the jab. He came out early trying to keep Gervonta at bay because, you know, he knows the power. Regardless, they could say all that shit that they want in the press conference and all that, but they know that power for real. He came out. He tried to establish the jab, keep Gervonta at bay. And Tank just walking him down. He landed, you seen a couple bruises on Tank. He landed some good shots on Tank. But every single time he went to the corner, you just kept, regardless of what. And I'm after this, regardless of what, you kept hearing Derrick James tell him, don't get comfortable on the ropes. Don't get comfortable in the corners. Don't get comfortable. And he proceeded to do the same thing. Now, granted, he was getting up out of there. He was running a little, getting up out of there, getting his shots off, getting up out of there. But Tank was just relentless in walking him down. I felt like once Tank felt his best shot and realized what it was, I think Tank didn't have a worry in the world. He said, "I'm gonna walk you down. I'm gonna make you get tired." And then I'm gonna go ahead and finish you off. Me personally, I felt like they ended up saying I think it was the unofficial, or they might have released a scorecard, but I think they had Tank only up by a point before the knockout. It was 66-67. I felt like I felt like Frank was actually winning the fight up until that 7th, 8th round, and then in the 8th round, Tank eventually knocked him out. But I felt like Frank was actually winning the fight. It's just, Tank is just, he a different breed. And I think people gotta start putting some respect on Tank. Tank is a different breed, man. He walked him down. We know he been out the ring, so he had some rust to get off. He been out the ring for a while. We know about the incarceration and everything like that. I'm not here to speak on that. So he had a little rust, but man, that uppercut, Cheeze, man, he felt that uppercut, and that was all she wrote. You could see him, he leaned back. Tank finished him, put him to sleep. And that's just the thing. My question for Tank, and I'm a big Tank fan. My question was, I think Tank, if you really been a Tank fan and you just been watching him, you just see the total evolvement of him in boxing. Because my question used to always be, what could Tank do outside of just knocking you out? Same question I had for Deontay Wilder, and we've seen lately that if Deontay Wilder can't knock you out, it's more than likely he's gonna lose the fight. Tank has shown in these last couple of fights that he could take you in that deep end, and he could rumble you, he could box you. If you want to, if we could slug it out normal, or we could box. Tank showing you the evolvement of his game. His boxing has gone up. He's such a smart fighter as far as cutting the ring off. Like I said, he was walking Frank down the whole time. And once it got in the later rounds, I said he gonna knock him out. It's only a matter of time before he knock him out. And he did just that. That's just what he do. When you watch a Gervonta Tank Davis fight, at this point, you just gotta expect a knockout. That's just what he do. His in-ring IQ It's just like there was no, even though like I said, Frank won to me won a lot of those a lot of them couple of rounds. There was no panic in Tank or anything because I felt like he just knew, oh, I got what I want. Once I find the opening, it's over. He knew he couldn't do nothing with him. And man, like I said, shout out to Tank, shout out to Frank for putting up a hell of a fight, even though you got knocked out. You know, that's all people gonna look at. But I honestly like the game plan Frank came in with. It's just, man, when you fighting one of the best, that's just what it is. I mean, Tank is an animal, man. He is just, like I said, he just know it's like he just know his opponent to a T. He know everything to do. That walk down style. I'm gonna walk you down. I'm gonna make you get tired, and then I'm gonna finish you off. He know how to finish in exciting fashion. Then he gonna hit the flip on your ass at the end. Shout out to Tank, man. That was just my reaction from the fight. Now, the question that I've been hearing a lot lately when people been talking about, and this is my first time speaking on it. I heard a couple people talking about it. Is Tank pound for pound number one? So this is what I want, and I'm gonna post this. Who do y'all believe is pound for pound number one? Do y'all think Tank is pound for pound number one? Me personally, like I said, I'm a huge Tank fan, but I want y'all opinion. Leave down in the comment section what y'all believe, who y'all believe is pound for pound number one. I love Tank. I feel like I said, Tank is one of the best fighters in the game right now. That's not even a question. He's one of the best fight. I love when he's about to fight. Make sure I'm in front of the TV every time he got a fight. I love Tank, but me personally, I can't give him pound for pound number one. I'm gonna give it to Bud, and the reason why I'm gonna say Bud, I'm gonna be honest. That fight against Earl Spence, Bud made me a believer. To me personally, and this is just me speaking for my opinion. That performance that Bud Crawford put on against Earl Spence was the best in-ring boxing performance I've ever witnessed in my life of watching boxing. I've never seen an in-ring performance like the way Bud put on against Earl Spence. He made Earl Spence look like that was his first fight. And before that fight, some people had Earl Spence as number one pound for pound. And the way Bud went in there and dominated Earl Spence, he made, and I'm a huge Earl Spence fan. He made Earl Spence, I picked Earl Spence to win the fight. He made Earl Spence look like an amateur, how good he looked that night in the ring. So it's no way I could give somebody else pound for pound number one. I know you got Canelo out there. You got the guy, I don't want to, the Chinese guy, I don't want to not pronounce his name the correct way, but I hear a lot of people mention him. You got the guy that just beat Tyson Fury. You got Benavidez. A whole bunch of guys are in the mix. But for me, I gotta Bud earn my respect. I gotta say Bud is pound for pound number one in the boxing game right now, just based off the performance that he put on against Earl. I've never seen an in-ring performance like that. Never. In my 29 years of living, I've never seen an in-ring boxing performance like that. That shit almost made me like cry. I felt so bad for Earl. After that, I said, man, this guy's the best fighter in boxing. So, but I want y'all to leave in y'all comment. Do y'all think, some people could think Tank is number one. Like I said, I'm a huge Tank fan. Do y'all believe Tank is number one pound for pound? Do you believe Bud is pound for pound? Some people might think it's Canelo. It's different opinions. It's boxing. It's different opinions. Leave down in the comment section who y'all believe is pound for pound number one. I just wanted to get that out there, give y'all my reaction to the fight. Since I didn't do it, this is the first, so here you go. And that's it for this episode, man. This is episode number 8 in the books. I appreciate all my supporters. Like I said, do not forget to hit that subscribe button. We on our way to 100 subscribers. Also, do not forget to like and share the content and follow me on all socials. They'll be attached to the video. And y'all have a good night. I'm gone.